So this is the path Sutcliffe would have took. He'd have been following Patricia through these corridors all the time with the claw hammer under his jacket, ready to pounce as soon as they got into Patricia's flat, which was down here on the left. I'm going to take you in. This is the path Sutcliffe and Patricia would have walked down. Should have opened the door, which is here. Should have walked in with Sutcliffe, shut the door behind her, and then this is where they would have come into the bedroom, into the murder scene. Patricia's bed would have been there. Hiya, welcome to Paradox Club. Now, I'm here today. I'm taking you back to 1977. And we're in Bradford in Yorkshire. Now, 1977 was a good year for United because we won the FA Cup, but we're in the height of the Ripper reign of terror, Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. Now, I've come here today because we've come to the murder flat of Patricia Atkinson, who was known as Tina, and this is the only time the Ripper ever murdered inside a house or anything. He always murdered outside, but this particular one is where he murdered inside. So I'm going to take you in, I'm going to show you the actual murder scene. So these are the actual insides of the flats, how they would have looked back in 1977 when Patricia Atkinson, 23rd of April 1977, and she was known as Tina. She was 32-year-old and she was a sex worker in the Bradford area of Yorkshire, and she became Peter Sutcliffe's fourth victim. She'd been drinking heavily the night before in the Perseverance pub and had left around 10 p.m. And staff remembered that she left at 10 p.m. because she was refused any more alcohol because she was drunk. So she went from the Perseverance pub to the Carlisle pub, and she was refused beer in there as well. But this is what the flats would have looked like. Well, not what they would have looked like, but this is the ruin they're in now. Now, around about 11 p.m, Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, was driving through the red light district around the area of Church Street. And what he did, he saw Patricia banging on the roof of a car. She was banging on the roof of this car. And he pulled over and he asked her for business. And she said to him, "I've got a flat nearby," which is just where we are now, in Oak Drive. Now, what Sutcliffe done, he was to follow Patricia out the car. He placed a claw hammer inside his jacket and followed Patricia into the flat. I'm going to take you into the bedroom now where the murder happened. And what he did was, she walked towards the flat, and what he did, he once inside the flat, he took the claw hammer out of the coat, and he repeatedly hit Patricia 4 times over the back of the head with a claw hammer, and also took a knife and attacked her, stabbing her 6 times in the stomach and stabbing her in the back. He finally left after he heard a gurgling sound. She was making a gurgling sound, probably her last dying breath, poor woman, and he proceeded to throw a bed linen sheet over her, presuming she was dead, and he left her for dead. But he made one mistake. What he did was to, he left a bloody footprint at the scene, and that sort of like, when she was found the next day, she wasn't found until 6 p.m. the next evening when a friend called round to see how she was, and found her dead in the bed and covered it in blood. And he left a footprint at the scene. Now the police linked that to an earlier murder of the Ripper where he left a bloody footprint again. So they knew they had the same man committing both murders. So this is, like I said, this is the only time the Ripper had killed inside a premises. He'd never killed inside before. All his murders were outside, and what he did was he'd already killed Irene Richardson in the February of 77, and this was in the April of 77. He struck again, so she became the fourth victim. And he went on to kill another 9 women after Patricia. Absolutely at large he was in this area of Bradford where we are today. And it had an eerie feel to it coming through here, I must admit, even though it's some years ago. The flat is over there. I'm going to take you to the scene. I'm going to put a piece of film sort of like over the top where it shows you where the flat is and shows you the scene, what it was like. We can see it's a proper rundown premises now. It's ready to be pulled, so that's why we thought we'd come and do this now. Now he was finally caught in 1981, Peter Sutcliffe, and he was charged with the murder of 13 women and attempted murder of another 7, and he was sentenced to 20 life terms with a minimum of 30 years, a recommendation of 30 years. He died in prison on the 13th of November 2020, age 74. And what we're going to do, we're going to show you the scene of the murder, and then we're going to take you to Peter Sutcliffe's house, and then we're going to take you to the cemetery where Patricia is buried. So what we're doing now, we're going to take you into number 3 Oak Drive, and this is where the footsteps of the Yorkshire Ripper. Only a small 1-bedroom, 1-roomed apartment really. You have a toilet which is there. You have a small little kitchen which is in here. And then this is the scene of the murder. Now, I'm going to relay a picture over the top here because this is just over here is where the blood-stained footprint was found. Patricia's bed would have gone against this wall here. And in the photo I put over the top, you'll see the end of Patricia's bed, which was here. And she had a little, sort of like electric bar heater here to heat her. But this is the actual murder scene of Patricia Atkinson, the Yorkshire Ripper's 4th victim. And it feels really strange in here, being in here. This is the view from Patricia's window, which she would have had. It is overgrown now. It was only, as you can see there, rest in peace, Tina. She was a working girl. Pat was her name, Patricia, but they called her Tina. She was a sex worker in the Church Road area of Bradford where we are. And the Ripper just sort of like stumbled across her on that fateful night. He saw her, she was drunk, she was banging on the car roof, and what he did was to pull over, ask her for business, and because she was a working girl, she said, I've got a flat nearby, which I'm stood in now. That's the door where the Yorkshire Ripper would have come in with Patricia. As soon as he was in here, he smashed her over the head 4 times with the hammer and proceeded to throw her onto the bed. She'd have stumbled probably onto the bed which was there. He hit her again, and then he stabbed her 6 times in the stomach and a few more times in the back. Without raping her, he didn't actually rape her. He removed her clothing, and when he was convinced she was on her last dying breath, the gurgling sounds, he threw a bed linen sheet over her, and he must have been stood in this spot where I am now, just there, because this is where the bloody footprint was found, just there. And after murdering poor Patricia, she wasn't found until the next morning. The next evening at 6 p.m. when they couldn't raise her. They come round, a friend come round and found the blood scene, the murder scene. But this is the exit Sutcliffe would have took. Probably not hurried because she was a sex worker and men would have come in here, in and out all the time, so it wouldn't have been an uncommon thing, really. But just one more look at the murder scene. And now we'll take you to see, after the murder where Peter Sutcliffe would have gone back to his house. We're going to take you to his house now. and show you. His ex-wife, Sonia, actually still lives there in the same house. So we're at Garden Lane over in Bingley. So after murdering Patricia, the Yorkshire Ripper Peter Sutcliffe would have drove his Ford Corsair up this road to number 6 where he lived at number 6 Garden Lane. I'm just going to show you which one it is now. So number 6 Garden Lane is the house on my right there. That is the home, or once the home of Peter Sutcliffe. His wife Sonia still actually lives in the house. So he drove up in his Ford Corsair and he'd parked in front of the garage there. Now what he did then was to go inside the house and put his bloodstained jeans into the washing machine and carry on his normal life as Peter Sutcliffe. So that is the house of the Yorkshire Ripper, Britain's most notorious serial killer. And like I say, Sonia, his wife, still actually lives in the premises today. So it's weird being here filming the actual house, what would have been the centre of attention in 1981 when he was captured. So we're just at the cemetery now. Now this is Skore Cemetery where Patricia was laid to rest after the horrific murder by the Yorkshire Ripper. A murderer remained at large until he killed another 9 ladies after Patricia. Now Patricia is buried under here. She used a few aliases, names which she used, but she is here and she is visited regular by a sister. So I'm just going to find out where the actual grave of Patricia is, Patricia Atkinson. Right, so we've located Patricia's grave. Absolutely over the moon that we found it. Bit of a hard find because we were looking for a cross. It had a cross from 1977, just a wooden cross. But we've scoured all around and couldn't find anything. But what we have found is she's been given a new grave, a new stone, which is really good. And we've come full circle now because we've got the grave just to the right of me here of Patricia. I'm going to show you now. So we finally found the resting place of Patricia Atkinson, and it threw us off the scent because we was looking for a cross, a wooden cross from the 1970s. But we've just discovered that Patricia has now got a nice new stone, and this is the final resting place of Patricia Atkinson. And as you can see, she had a double name as Mitra as well. And like I say, she's we've gone full circle from where her life was ended at the flat on Oak Avenue, and this is her final resting place. So we hope she's resting in peace, and it's lovely that she's got a new stone after all this time. All we can say is rest in peace, Patricia, or Tina, as also you was known, Tina. So this is our final resting place, just to the left of the church. So I'm just going to make my way out now. Anthony's still filming, so I just want to say I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's not one you should enjoy really, because it was such an horrific time in the 1970s up until 1981 when Sutcliffe was captured and caught and sentenced to a life imprisonment, where he sort of like manipulated the parole board and everything like that to get himself a nice cushy life in Broadmoor. He ended up in a normal prison when they deemed him he wasn't mental after 30 odd years, and he ended up serving his time in prison where he died in 2020. So this has been a bit of a trip round Bradford, Yorkshire, and the sort of like the grounds of where Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, would have sort of like scoured these roads looking for sex workers. And hope we've sort of like took you on a bit of a journey. We've shown you his house, we've shown you the murder scene, and now we've shown you the final resting place of Patricia Atkinson. So thanks for watching.